20 questions and answers about occasional gain income in Colombia. Business owner, what is occasional gain? Accountant, it is an extraordinary and non-regular income, such as the sale of a fixed asset, lottery prizes, inheritances, or donations. Business owner, when is the sale of a fixed asset considered occasional gain? Accountant, when the asset has been held for at least 4 years before the sale, according to the Financing Law 2025. Business owner, what if I sell a fixed asset held for less than 4 years? Accountant, the gain is considered ordinary income and taxed accordingly. Business owner, what is the general tax rate on occasional gains? Accountant, the general tax rate is 15% for most occasional gains. Business owner, what rate applies to lottery, raffle, and betting prizes? Accountant, a 30% rate specifically applies to lotteries, raffles, and similar games. Business owner, how do I calculate occasional gain on the sale of a property? Accountant, it's the difference between the selling price and the updated tax cost of the property. Business owner, are inheritances subject to occasional gain tax? Accountant, yes, but there are limited exemptions quantified in UVT units according to the reform. Business owner, must I always declare occasional gains? Accountant, yes, occasional gains are declared in a special section in the income tax return. Business owner, is there a minimum amount to pay tax on occasional gains? Accountant, there is no minimum amount. However, some taxpayers may not declare if they don't exceed certain limits. Business owner, can I deduct losses on occasional gains? Accountant, yes, losses on assets held more than 4 years are deductible. For less time, not necessarily. Business owner, how does this affect businesses and individuals? Accountant, it mainly affects those selling fixed assets under the simple or ordinary tax regimes, increasing tax burden and deduction possibilities. Business owner, what is the difference between occasional gain and ordinary income? Accountant, ordinary income comes from usual business activity. Occasional gains are sporadic or extraordinary incomes. Business owner, how is withholding tax applied to occasional gains? Accountant, for prizes like lotteries, the payer withholds the tax before awarding the prize. Business owner, what documents should I keep to support occasional gains? Accountant, keep purchase and sale documents, appraisals, deeds, and any proof of value and transaction. Business owner, can I subtract costs and expenses to calculate occasional gain? Accountant, yes, for assets held at least 4 years, fiscal costs are subtracted from sale value. Business owner, do occasional gains affect bank deposit calculations? Accountant, yes, they can affect income declaration limits and bank reporting. Business owner, when should I pay tax on occasional gain? Accountant, with the income tax return for the fiscal year the gain was obtained. Business owner, what happens if I don't declare or pay the occasional gain tax? Accountant, penalties, interest, and tax adjustments from DIEN will apply. Business owner, do the tax rules for occasional gains apply the same in the simple tax regime? Accountant, yes, but the increased holding period may increase tax burden in this regime. Business owner, how have exemption limits for inheritances and donations changed? Accountant, limits have been reduced and are now set at lower UVT amounts, reducing allowed tax benefits.